kindergarten, it's Mrs. Larson with your next second step lesson. So last time we learned about how to notice kids if they're not playing with anybody and how to invite them to play. We practiced using our skills of empathy, trying to understand how somebody else is feeling and how it might feel to be left out. And then thinking about ways to invite somebody to play and how to be assertive, because we know that when we are invited to play, it feels good. So hopefully you guys had some opportunities to practice that, whether at school or in your neighborhoods, inviting a new friend to play with you. Today we are going to talk about fair ways to play. When we play with our friends or other kids, we need to make sure that we are being fair. Can you think of some fair ways to play? I have 3 to show you today. So some fair ways to play are sharing, trading, and taking turns. You could share a book or a toy with somebody. You could take turns with a toy or something that you're doing. Or you could, oops, I got it backwards. You could trade. So I could play with it and then I could give it to you to play with and we could trade. Or we could take turns. My turn and then your turn and then my turn. So 3 ways to play fair. Sharing, trading, and taking turns. I bet you guys are already really good at those and have a lot of practice, but sometimes it's good to have a little reminder. Now for our story. Here are Matthew and Fiona. Do you see Matthew and Fiona? They go to the same school. Fiona has been playing with the school's only 2 big dinosaurs for a long time. And Matthew has been playing with the 3 little ones, but he really wants to play with a big dinosaur. How do you think Matthew feels? Let's look up close to his face. How do you think Matthew feels? I think he looks sad, a little disappointed. Maybe he's a little jealous. Fiona has something that he wants. So let's say the first steps of the problem-solving steps together. Do you remember? First is say the problem. Think of solutions. Did you remember that? So let's say the problem together. So the problem is that Matthew wants to play with something that his classmate Fiona is already playing with. He can't play with it right now. That is the problem. Let's pretend that we're Matthew for a second and think of something that he could do. We are thinking of solutions. Okay. Maybe some hints about the fair ways to play will help us to come up with some solutions. What could he do? Could he ask Fiona to play? Then they could play with them all together? He could. Could he say, hey Fiona, I've been playing with these little ones for a while. You've been playing with those big ones for a while. Let's trade. He could. Or he could say, could I have my turn with the big dinosaurs now and you could play with these ones? Or maybe she wants to play something else. Yes, so they could share them, they could trade, they could take turns. There's a few of those solutions and fair ways to play. Now, would it be fair for Fiona to keep them all to herself the whole time? No, because then Matthew doesn't get a turn, and that would make him sad. The big dinosaurs don't belong to Fiona, they belong to the school, so they are for everybody to play with. A lot like the toys at your school. They are for everybody to play with. So everybody should get a chance to play with them. Sharing, trading, and taking turns, remember, are fair ways to play. They make it fun to play together. So Matthew uses his self-talk, and he says the problem to himself. He thinks of some solutions, and he decided to ask Fiona if she wanted to play together, sharing both of all of the dinosaurs. She likes having the little dinosaurs to play with too. She created a fun game that they are both playing together and having fun. So Matthew was able to think about some solutions for his problem and asked her in a nice, calm way to play. And now they're playing and having fun together. So we learned 3 fair ways to play, remember? Sharing, trading, and taking turns. We learned about how to use those in situations like this. And guess what? You could use those fair ways to play at home too. Do you have a brother or a sister or a cousin that lives with you? Any other kids that you could think of that you could share, trade, or take turns with your toys? Is it always easy to do those things? No, it's not always easy. But remember, being fair is also being kind. Just like we need to be fair to others, we want others to be fair to us. So try that this week as you're playing at school with your classmates, in the classroom, or at recess, or at Kid Stop, or at church, or sports, or home. Try using those fair ways to play and see how it goes. All right, I'll see you next time.